In September, the Department for Transport announced a second round of funding of the Community Minibus Fund. The first round of the fund, announced in 2014, has provided funding for over 350 minibuses to charities and community groups across England. It has had a huge impact on the provision of accessible and inclusive transport, so we're pleased that the second round of funding has been made available. The total value of the second round of the Community Minibus Fund is £2 million and is open to educational organisations and community groups across England. This round of funding is being administered by the Community Transport Association, so we're here to help you through the application process in any way we can. If you want to apply for funding, head over to our website www.ctauk.org and click the link to the Community Minibus Fund. There you'll find guidance for applicants, information on state aid and the Community Minibus Fund Round 2 application form. In this video, we're going to go through the application form to help you fill it in. To download the application form, head to the website and click on the Community Minibus Fund Round 2 application form link. Prior to filling out the application form, please read the Guidance for Applicants document to ensure you meet the essential criteria. You can find that on the same page as the application form here. In this video, we're going to go through the application form and give some guidance on filling it in. The video won't focus on all areas of the application form, but we'll look at sections where the particular attention needs to be paid. The first 2 pages require standard information about your organisation that will be used during the assessment stage. This should be self-explanatory. The state aid section is one of the more complex parts of the application form. Under European law, there are limits to how much state aid may be received by any organisation. This includes community groups, even when they have charitable status. It's important to note that even though the UK voted in June 2016 to leave the European Union, until the UK has formally exited the EU, obligations of EU membership, including state aid laws, remain in place. For this section of the application, we require information on the total value of all state aid of any description. For example, in cash or in kind received or receivable from any public body in each of the past 5 years and the nature of that aid. Please also forecast any aid likely to be received or receivable in the next 3 years. If zero funding is forecast, please state this. Why do we need this information? When assessing your application, we will be reviewing whether the funding you've received or will receive, including funding from the Community Minibus Fund Round 2, does not exceed €200,000 over any 3-year period, either before or after you receive funding from the Community Minibus Fund Round 2. If you are unsure whether the funding you have received from a public body constitutes state aid, please refer back to your grant agreement or contact your funder to find out. It is a legal responsibility of the funder to ensure that they make you aware whether the funding is subject to state aid rules. There is some helpful guidance on our website which will explain how to do this. Just head to the Community Minibus Fund Round 2 page and click on Getting to Grips with the Minimus and State Aid. The next section you might need some guidance on is section 3C. Here we require information on the training you undertake to ensure your minibus drivers are safe and legal. This could include schemes such as the Minibus Driver Awareness Scheme, MIDAS, or local authority approved training. Section 5A is the most important part of the application, which lets you explain what impact the new vehicle would have on your community. Think about how the vehicle is going to be used and who is going to use it, how it might be utilised in the future, why you think your service will be the best use of the vehicle, and anything else that you think demonstrates the impact that it will have on your community. Think outside the box. The most interesting and detailed applications will help us to award a grant for a new minibus. There are a few other points to note whilst filling in your application form. If you have read the guidance and feel that you are eligible, please do submit an application. You don't have to be a traditional community transport organisation to apply. We would be pleased to accept joint applications as long as the organisations involved meet the eligibility criteria. Regarding state aid for a joint application, unless there is a clear agreement that the vehicle will be shared between joint applicants in fixed proportions, each organisation will be treated separately as the recipient of the vehicle for state aid purposes. This means that the whole of the vehicle's value will be counted against the allowable state aid limit available to each organisation. If, by contrast, you have agreed that the use of the vehicle and associated costs will be shared 50-50 between joint applicants, then we would treat each as the recipient of only half of the vehicle for state aid purposes. Please ensure that all of the supporting documentation is sent to us along with your application form. Of particular importance is the supporting statement from a stakeholder in your organisation, for example, local authority, regional transport partnership or health board. This could include statements from an officer at a town or district council, a voluntary sector organisation who works closely with you, an area youth and community worker or development worker, and the chair of a community forum. Please double check that you have attached all the required information when submitting your application. Good luck with your application. If you require any additional support to submit your application, please email minibusfund@ctauk.org and we'll be happy to help. Thank you.